Knowing what kind of assets and how you're going to use them is very important in fantasy football. You also got to know which format you're playing in and how to strategize best for that format. And when I'm talking about this, is for certain player evaluations. The short-term player evaluations, I'm talking about DFS, couple games into the season, like you're talking about the last quarter of games, the back half of the season, when you got just a few set of games left, player evaluation means less. Long-term fantasy format, Dynasty, Devy, Campus to Canton, the start of a redraft season when you have a whole season in front of you. Player evaluation means more. How fast is a guy? What he did at college? What he's been doing the last few years? What's his offense looks like? When you're in the short term, when you're playing DFS, when you have X amount of games left in the season and you need them to hit for a few, you're looking at more touches. You're looking at more of the situation in the offense. You're looking at more of the game script coming up than you are at the certain player evaluation. Because if the player's a little slower, a little smaller, but is still getting opportunity for the short term, there's a chance they cross the goal line. There's a chance they catch a few passes. There's a chance something happens where they can provide some fantasy production, and you do not want to miss out on that. When you look at the scoring through each week, through the rankings of the scoring, you will see ancillary jabronis up and down the list for the wide receiver 1s, 2s, RBs 1s and 2s, and tight ends 1s and 2s, and the quarterbacks. That's just how the game works. Over the long term, there's more risk for those players who are slower, who doesn't have a production profile, and over the long term, they can be replaced. The short term, though, they're in it, they're getting touches, and we're just banking on for the game script to wheel us out some fantasy production. And today, this leads us to talking about Kyren Williams again. Every time I drop a piece on him, it's, oh, he runs a 4.65 40-yard dash. Oh, he's only 194 pounds. Oh, 9th percentile size-adjusted speed score. I mention this in every video. People hear that part, and they're like, I'm out. But the thing is, though, you post that on social media, you got a following, you're going to have a trail of people in the comments, though, saying, I don't care, I just need a running back, I just need touches, I just need some help. And that's all we're really looking for here. You have to understand that not every video on a player isn't saying that this is the next Jonathan Taylor. This isn't going to be the next Travis Etienne. Sometimes you just need touches to bail you out. And the thing is, with the back half of the season, there's a little bit less risk here for a player like this, because all they have to do is get wheeled into the opportunity, have game script flow them up a little bit, and they could give you some production. Kyren Williams is a player like this, and we're in a situation here where he could be getting some opportunity to succeed sooner than later. Yesterday against the 49ers, the running back carries were kind of wonky here. Ronnie Rivers getting 8, Darrell Henderson getting 4, Malcolm Brown getting 5. I get it. Niners, one of the toughest defenses you'll go against in the NFL, but it's also telling us there's some meat on the bone. Not to mention Cam Akers is dead. He's out of the picture, and there's opportunity for this guy to come in and make some stuff happen. Let's wheel back to some things that's been stated before. Adam Schefter, week 1, before he was out due to the injury and was placed on IR, was considered to have a large role in the offense. That is what we're banking on, and this is what we're hoping for. Part of his prospect profile is that he was one of the best blocking running backs in the draft, blocks his face off, catches the ball in the backfield, caught 78 balls over the course of his collegiate career. He also busted out some long runs during his career at Notre Dame as well. So he can do some things. His prospect profile for the long term has some red flags in it. That's why it was a 5th round selection. But they do sometimes give us opportunities for the short term to get fantasy production. That's if they're inserted in the lineup. And we're seeing a running back depth chart here that is starting to show some holes in it where he could get some opportunity. Ronnie Rivers is getting touches. Why can't him when he comes back? The thing I'd be worried about most is he's a rookie running back coming back from an injury. I'm more worried about him coming back from an injury than I am from the 4.65 40-yard dash. The 4.65 40-yard dash, the 9th percentile size-adjusted speed score, I made the video making fun of that months ago right after the combine. The thing about that, though, that's more for the long term. That's more for the initiation process for his overall career. If you're just thrown into the wild here, getting touches, getting volume here, you could have some fantasy production. If you're here splitting carries with Darrell Henderson, you might get your opportunity to cross the goal line. You might get your opportunity to catch a few passes. This might be your turn to anoint yourself. And what if he does play well? Then you're probably going to get a good sell high here in Dynasty. That way you can reap the rewards, get a return on your minimal investment, and you move forward. But for the short term, when you have an ancillary jabroni running back wide receiver that's getting workload, you want them on your roster at least, especially as a speculation play to help you out. Because if you're getting touches, you're in the right game script, the game script goes off, and you're in a position where you're just getting those touches and prime opportunities, then that could lead to some fantasy production. If he's not getting those touches, obviously that doesn't, but you can put this guy on IR for free and see what happens, and that's pretty much the story of Kyren Williams. Nobody's expecting him to blow up to be a top dog in the league, a top tier running back, but we are chasing those touches, and maybe you don't need those touches. Maybe you're good at running back. There are some people who I help out. I'm like, dude, you're good. You don't need to drop any of your running backs or any of your players to get this guy. You're good with what you got. You're getting touches here. If you're doing it, it's only for speculation. You just want to take on the gamble, but you're good with what you got. But other people, they're hurting. They need to take a gamble. They need to take a risk. They need to make some moves because they don't have anything. They're running back poor, and they got to make these types of moves because they have to set themselves apart or they're not going to make the playoffs, and they have to start wheeling and dealing and start taking risks with the roster to get something done. Let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know if you're down with Kyren Williams or not. I'm not a huge fan of his prospect profile, but when you're playing fantasy like this and a guy might be getting touches in the future and you can stash him on IR, why not? That's the part about him. But let me know what you think. Drop a like, it's hot in there. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm dropping content like this left and right. And sometimes it's just theory. A lot of times it's waiver wire content, trade content, and everything else. It'll only help you out going forward. But I want to thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.